How do you get these athletes to open up to the public about their finances when their finances are not so great?
Yeah, you know, Kelly, that was a very challenging part of this show was casting. And I know that the folks at CNBC did a great job of interviewing dozens of athletes and did a kind of a big time search to find. But, you know, Joe Smith was a really good guy with good intentions that ran into some really tough luck. And that's the case for a lot of athletes. And this goes beyond just athletic field. It goes into real life.
Yeah, Alex, it's a fairly familiar story of, athletes, a lot of money at a very young age, not really sure how to deal with it, and maybe don't end up with much when they get older. So it's easy to say, well, you should just be smarter about your money when you're younger and you have it. But what about these athletes that you're now talking to, like Joe Smith, who are in a position where it's difficult to figure out exactly how they make their way toward, being able to support themselves well when the only thing they thought they were going to be doing in life they can't do anymore?
Yeah, if you think about just take Major League Baseball, most of our athletes make 80 to 90% of their money from age 20 to 30. The career average is 5.5 years, and less than 5% of our athletes have college degrees. Just with that information alone, I would probably short that stock. In Joe Smith's case, he has to work just as hard now that he's not playing and hone his craft. Athletes, for the most part, spend all their time building their 10,000 hours. Now you have to do the same thing in business so you can protect yourself.
And even the ones who went to college, as we know now, that experience is probably not so academic. So I wonder, should the responsibility be on the leagues, Alex, to kind of force the players to do something? Or is it, is there a role? We hear a lot from guys in the finance community and otherwise who say, you know what, this is important to me. I want to go and I want to talk to these teams and try to, help educate people so they don't end up with bad managers and blowing the money. I mean, who do you think bears the responsibility?
Well, look, it's very easy to point a lot of different ways. I know that Major League Baseball does a tremendous job educating their players early on, as well as the union. But, we have a $10 billion industry in baseball. It's very healthy. But athletes have to understand that no one's going to do for you as you do for yourself. So it's important to know the numbers, know your spending, know how much you're making, and understand that your career is probably going to last to 30. The question that you have to ask yourself is, what happens from age 31 to 80?
I know, and I think, too, look, the numbers are staggering. You hear these, we just talked about Drew Brees, special situation, I get it, but in the NBA, you can make amazing money, not even as one of the top-tier guys necessarily. So is it that by the time they're, I don't know, kind of what they take home is not as good as that headline number, Alex? Or how do you go through so much money and come out with nothing, basically?
Again, you have to look at, what happens from age 20 to 80. And only, a very low percentage that you're going to be making really good money. You have to think about the long term, and what happens from 30 to 80 is a question that we have to spend most of the time. I wish we had a vehicle that athletes early on can put money away forced. Just how you have to pay taxes to the U.S. government, you put what happens to the OOPS fund, where you can go out and put 10% of your money, and you can't touch it till you're 45, because we have to make a bet they're going to make better decisions at 45 than they will at 25.
And what about that guy who's 45 and has to restart? What's the process that you would recommend for them to go about?
Well, a little bit like Marcus Lemonis does in Profit. Our job is to go in and teach them how to fish, not give them fish, right? And I think it's a process. For me, one of the things that's really been helpful is surrounding myself with a board of advisors that's very complementary, and whether it's diversified in gender and age and expertise, are things that you're going to need, because you're not going to have all the answers, and surrounding yourself with great partners, it's something that is very important.
I like the OOPS fund. Alex, thanks for joining us. So looking forward to seeing the show later.
Thank you, Kelly and Mike.
That's Alex Rodriguez from Miami. You can catch the premiere of the primetime special Back in the Game tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on CNBC.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.